Oh, look at the time. I believe it's...
The Chainsaw Minute!
I'm David, and this is your dose of Chainsaw Man. Join us every Friday when Fujimoto has put out a new masterpiece, or when I'm not moving. Sorry, my bad, folks.
I'm Jordan, and if you're looking for regular Shonen Flop goodness, you can find our next episode where we look at Butsu Zone on Monday.
Get in the zone, the Butsu Zone.
Oh yes, featuring Andy's Island.
Oh, hell yeah. And just a reminder, these recordings are open to everyone, so listen in, chat along with us on the Shonen Flop Discord every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern when I'm not moving. Hey, big shout out to the Wednesday crew that were able to make it today.
Yo, what's up?
You can find a link in our show notes or on our site.
Oh, yeah.
And Jordan, what was your devil this week?
Well, I'm getting a new phone, and it is free through my Medicaid benefits. However, this is the first time in like 10 plus years I've gotten a new phone number.
Oh my.
I gotta deal with that.
That sounds annoying. You can't transfer it?
No.
Oh man. At least they pay for your phone bill though.
Yeah, they didn't tell me what phone I'm getting though. I'm bracing myself for something shitty.
And my devil this week, as is no surprise, the moving devil.
Oh boy.
I moved from Manhattan to Queens. I'm in my new apartment. It's a little smaller, but cozier. We were able to get all the furniture to fit, so it was quite the exhausting day yesterday.
I had to suddenly move in with my girlfriend, and so that has also been a little stressful, but it's nice to be here with her. So,
well, Steph's a real sweetheart, so.
Yeah, no, she's great.
All right, but enough about that. Jordan, the plot summary for Chapter 132, Protection.
Nayata is hanging out in class when she is suddenly swarmed by armed police and arrested. Meanwhile, Asa is recovering on the couch of a hospital, watching Izumi, that guy from the Devil Hunter Club, like 10 chapters back, who really loved Chainsaw Man. And he's on a variety TV show. He is currently proselytizing the new Chainsaw Man Church for World Peace, which David and I are both members of, actually.
Oh, yes. Day one, baby.
Oh, yeah. The host made fun of him, and he whines about it to Fammy later at a bar. Fammy says that the ridicule was the point, as a mysterious...
I thought they were in like a changing room or something, like the backstage.
It might be the backstage. It's kind of hard to tell. You might be right, though.
Because that has a lot of mirrors.
Yeah, that's a good point. It probably is a backstage area. But meanwhile, a mysterious hand then rests on Isumi's shoulder. Whoever it belongs to says that she's right. He's just the face of the operation, while Fammy is the brains. Together they will manipulate the body of the Chainsaw Man Church. By the way, David, did you know that the mediator between the head and the hands is the heart?
Really?
Yeah, anyway, flash cut to Denji, who is tied up in a holding cell speaking to Yoshida. Yoshida says they're currently, quote-unquote, protecting Denji and are also, quote-unquote, protecting Nayata and their dogs in the same way. Denji says that he'll tongue Yoshida's butthole for a week. Or was it a week or a month?
It was a week. I think Denji tries to be realistic with his offers.
Yeah, I feel you, Denji. But I'll tongue Yoshida's butthole for a week if he lets them go. But, I don't know, that doesn't seem to work for some reason. And Yoshida tells Denji that they won't be harmed as long as he stays where he is. Okay.
Oh, man. So, Jordan, why was this week's chapter a 10 out of 10?
Oh, man. Denji eats ass confirmed?
I mean, Fujimoto definitely eats ass.
Fujimoto eats ass 100%. No, I really like Nayata.
I'm kind of disappointed. I was really hoping for a full Nayata in school chapter. It just turns into Love is War.
Oh, yeah. She's hilarious. She, runs that place, but she also has a great time there.
I was actually expecting like a full-on chapter where it's like we meet all our friends and stuff, and at the end like a devil just kills all of them, and I was just like, oh no, not again. There was some really good dialogue that really showed what society is like, where people are just so used to people dying from devils, you know, like when one of her classmates says died, no, she's missing, you mean, where it's like devils are just constantly killing people. And I actually really want Fujimoto to establish, how does society function when so many people are dying from devils so often?
I don't know, David. How does our society function when so many people are dying from gun violence?
I mean, that is fair.
Yeah. And I would argue that the society here is not really functioning, actually. I feel like the society is being held together by string.
The string devil.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like it's about to crumble.
Yeah, so Fami, though, is really just like her sister, where I guess all the devils are just very controlling people.
Yeah.
And who do you think that guy in the background is?
I mean, the obvious answer is the fake Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, but who is the fake Chainsaw Man, I guess is the question.
For a little bit, I was thinking it was Yoshida, but I don't really think that.
Yeah, I feel it's too obvious to be Yoshida.
Yeah, it feels like that's like an obvious misdirection.
I actually think, what if it's the Darkness Devil? Because Fami already is on terms with a Primordial, and that would be pretty badass, because we've already seen them, and obviously they can take more humanoid forms if they want to.
Do you think it's just a straight-up devil, or do you think it's like a human character?
Could go either way.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's Pochita.
Yeah, the Pochita Devil.
The Pochita Devil. I like what you said before, the Chainsaw Devil.
Yes. I think that would be awesome.
I also appreciate the little bit that we got of Aza. I appreciate that she's just hanging out in this extremely overly crowded hospital.
Yeah, and how she was only mildly injured, but I guess a big part of that is since she's a fiend, I guess kind of a fiend is the best way to describe her, she clearly has like a healing factor.
I mean, she's got a devil inside of her keeping her alive, too. I mean,
isn't that everyone?
That's true, David. So what if you could see the darkest side of me, the animal I have become? Anyway.
Yoshida's just the guy, isn't he?
What do you mean by that?
He's just like the guy, you know, he's just the guy, man. I don't know how else to describe it. It's like sometimes you just know, sometimes a guy is just the guy. And I know all of our listeners are like nodding and agreeing, and they're like, yep, Yoshida is the guy.
I mean, I want to be the guy, but...
Oh, fuck, that was a hard-ass game.
Yeah, that was the joke about that game. But I like how Fujimoto goes into detail about like the effects of these devil attacks.
Yeah.
He talks about how, like, no, this wasn't just like a fight between Chainsaw Man, Aza, and the Falling Devil. This killed a ton of people. This fucked things up. You know, there are consequences to this.
And we also see why the Falling Devil's primordial, because the fact that she was killing people not even in Tokyo because of how powerful she is, it's insane.
Yeah, I like that there's a Chainsaw Man church. I think that actually makes sense for this world right now, where it's like people are freaking the fuck out. Everybody knows about the Nostradamus prediction. And it's interesting to see some people denying it, you know? Some people just straight up don't believe it. They think it's jokey and stuff. Like, you know, in a normal world, I'd agree, but this is a world where people are getting constantly murdered by devils. So I don't know. I don't...
Yeah.
It sounds like denial, basically.
Yeah, and I think that topic really ties into the next chapter. So why don't we get into chapter 133, Man Protest. Yoshida takes Denji to see anti-Chainsaw Man protesters, who are then fought by the Chainsaw Man Church. Why wouldn't someone just hand them a Pepsi, you know? Just get Kyle Jenner out there.
Kyle Jenner.
Yeah, Kyle Jenner is their 4 kids' name.
Kylo Jenner.
Yes, from Star Wars.
Yeah.
Denji remarks that he kind of likes people fighting over him. Yoshida says the church now has over 20,000 members, and even politicians are starting to contribute to it. Denji asks how he'll be able to see Nayuta and the pups again, and Yoshida tells him that he just has to live as a normal guy and never become Chainsaw Man ever again. He'll go to school the same as always, and Yoshida will even hang out with him, where he's kind of like, I'll pretend to be your friend if that helps.
Why would Denji want him to be his friend after this shit? I mean,
Yoshida is the guy.
I mean, you know, it's Denji, so he actually might. But you know, I feel like that's a really weird thing to offer Yoshida. You're kind of a piece of shit to Denji right now.
Yeah, and if not, they'll kill Nayuta and his dogs. Denji refuses. Yoshida says that he can either be Chainsaw Man or see them again. And Denji says he picks both of those options because he's figured out the trolley problem.
Yeah. He picked the secret third option.
Yes. Just then, Nayuta and the dog show up, which is not what Yoshida wanted. But I mean, she's the fucking control devil. Denji says that they're going home, and Yoshida is left dumbfounded, I think showing emotion for the first time in the entire series.
Yeah, for the first time, we see Yoshida actually kind of freaking out about something. Like, he actually loses his composure. He's like, what the fuck? Why is she here?
It kind of takes me back when they're in the cafe. And what did Denji say to him that Yoshida was like, fuck, I don't know how to respond to that. That's a good point.
Oh, I don't remember. Was that the one where Denji ate the cake?
Yeah, when he ate a shitload of cake. Maybe he's like, I want to be Chainsaw Man because then, like, women will love me and, like, I'll become super famous and popular. And Yoshida's like, I don't really know how to, like, you know.
Yeah, it was definitely a situation where Denji was so dumb that Yoshida couldn't argue against what he was saying.
Right? Which is just peak Fujimoto writing.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But yeah, so Jordan, why did you think this chapter was a 10 out of 10?
I really liked this one. I really liked how Denji was struggling with the problem, and he was just like, I choose two. I'm getting both options. I'm doing both, and he's like really upset about it, and I really love the emotion that Fujimoto puts into depicting Denji here.
By the way, our great listener, Dude Rocks, has mentioned that Denji said it's because he really wants to have sex. And Yoshida didn't know how to counter that response. But yeah, also, speaking of sex, why was Denji naked last chapter?
Because he was just in a holding cell. They were
listen, editor. Denji being almost naked and offering to rim job Yoshida is very important to the plot.
I guess it was like, well, we want to make sure he's not hiding anything.
But he literally can turn himself into a chainsaw.
Yeah, but maybe he also has a knife in his jacket.
I don't fucking know. I do want to say, I saw people on the internet being like, this was kind of a mid-chapter, and I actually agree, because it just felt like it was just him and Yoshida just arguing about the same point over and over, and it was like 2 or 3 pages too long of that. Like, I don't know, the chapter just felt kind of weirdly paced. Like, it feels like he rushed the chapter out the door without really fully baking it.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I definitely agree that, like, the argument kind of went on a little longer because Denji was saying, I picked 2, like, multiple times. I mean, you know. Also, I want to say about the previous chapter, after I read it, I told Steph, there's going to be one part of this chapter that's going to be memed to death. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but you're going to know about it. You're going to immediately know what it is. And she read most of the chapter. I was kind of like, did I miss it? And then she was like, oh, no, he's going to tongue his butthole for a week.
There we go. I also wonder how the church is affecting Denji's power. He has devil powers, which is based on fear, but if he's getting admiration, is that making him weaker, or is it powering him in a different way?
Well, it's also like a lot of churches are based on fear, you know, fear of God, fear of power. And not only that, you don't just have the church, you also have the protesters who are legitimately terrified of Chainsaw Man. So it does create this interesting conflict.
Fair.
Yeah.
I just want to know who the fuck Fake Saw Man is.
Right? It's Fujimoto himself.
Yeah. All right. But Jordan, did you have any other thoughts?
I think it's funny that they thought they could contain the Control Devil.
Right?
She's the fucking Control Devil. She's basically Makima Jr.
It's interesting how Naota isn't immortal like Makima because she hasn't made a deal with the Prime Minister of Japan. So she actually, in the previous chapter, had gotten shot. She would have actually just died.
Oh, that's interesting, yeah. I also like that they kidnapped the dogs, too. Like, they didn't just kidnap Naota, they kidnapped all her dogs.
Well, we saw that Dennis really loves animals, as we saw with the Save the Cat chapter.
Well, they kidnapped all the dogs and one cat. Is that the cat that he saved in that chapter?
No, that's Meowie.
That's fair.
You know what else is fair?
Our sign off?
Thanking you for all your hard work on the show, Jordan.
Oh, thank you, David. You do a lot of great work too, you know.
You know, you can find us on Twitter at Shonen Flopcast and our website, shonenflop.com. We're also on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, or wherever else you get your podcast. Also, I forgot to say, but thank you everyone who's listening in right now. It's always great to have people coming in. Thank you, Trey, for the opening theme in the episode shout out. Find them at Tre Watson Music. Props to Shannon for the awesome cover art. Find them online at illuminyatea. And as a reminder, you can join us every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern when there is a new chapter out or I'm not moving. Find a link to it in the show notes or on our site, shonenflop.com. And stay tuned next Monday as we give our full thoughts on Butsu Zone featuring Andy's Islands, the number one Shaman King the number one Shaman King expert.
Yeah, no, seriously. But like, oh no, David.
What is it?
I'm looking at the clock and the Chainsaw Minute has passed.
Oh no.
Oh, bye.
Bye.
The Chainsaw Minute.